Hey traders, what's up? Jamie Saettele here. It is March 30th, 2022. And welcome to the FX Power Hour again. Jamie Saettele here with Scandinavian Capital Markets and SB Trade Desk. So let's begin. Also, before I get into the charts, at the bottom of your screen, you'll have a link to Telegram. You can sign up to receive alerts and all that good stuff. So check that out. All right, let's share the chart. I think I got it over here. Yeah. Alrighty. So we should be looking at US dollar. And real quick, this is log scale. And I noticed that if you throw a fib up here, right, from the 2020 to 2020 to 2021 low, you do get, we came within ticks of the 618, again, having the fibs drawn log scale. We very close, and I do like how the market kind of scales, if you will, to the other fibs. So like the 23.6 fib, you can see, very well defined. 38.2, again, same thing, and 618. So this has been our trigger line, this red line here, that we've been patiently watching. And if we do get down into that level, heads up for a bigger break. And before actually I go into everything, I forgot to do this last week, but it's actually better if we do it this week anyway, because we are heading into a new month. So let's take a look at the seasonals. Dxy Seasonality. So April, this is updated as of last week. By the way, I update these on weekly basis. So we are going into April, which again is a extremely bearish month for the dollar historically. Okay, so that's DXY. Here's here's cable, for example. You can see the seasonals actually have been great with British pound, Aussie, right? Same deal. Kiwi, same deal, right? Dollar CAD. You get the picture here. Dollar yen tend to peak out right there as April starts, which should be right here, right? This is next week. So this line will go here with April's close, April 1st, which is a Friday. So I did want to point that out. Okay. All right, so moving on. So there's US dollar. DXY. Really, US dollar is the chart that I'm watching closest for that that trigger, USDOLLAR, that we just looked at. However, did want to bring in DXY here, of course. We'll take a look at euro in a second, but now we've definitively broken again the center line of or the median line of the fork that goes back to the 2021 low. And notice where we topped here on March 7th. Okay, that is what we call the 75 line. So if you think of this as 0, 25, 50, 75, 100. So within all of this fork that we've been trading within for so long, we haven't really traded between cleanly between these two levels. So I'm wondering if we start to do that now. Point being is just pay attention to that 25 line now. Okay, you can see that's right there. It's going to be like, what is that, about 97, 70, no, we're currently 97, 77. That's like 97.30 or something. So Again, I would pay attention to that for, you know, a possible support. If we were to rally back the center line, that should be resistance at 98.65. And finally, you know, don't forget, of course, the US dollar chart that we looked at before. All right, let's go straight to dollar, Swedish krona, and then we'll go to euro. So remember last week we did highlight the fact that we had broken the center line. Again, this is the same fork, same dates really that we just looked at on DXY in terms of the structure that was drawn, the fork here. And the center line for dollar SEK has been spot on in terms of acting as resistance. So we broke it. That's important on the 16th. Again, we talked about it last week. We did not quite get back to resistance, unfortunately. So we had a great sale there. But now we are approaching the lower parallel, which again, you can see was precise support back in mid-January. So be aware of that level, okay? And it's going to be like 918 or so. Again, it does line up. Does line up well with former resistance here. So pay close attention to that level. And again, I always look at dollar SEK with respect to general dollar, general dollar direction and pivot, support, resistance, and all that good stuff. Alrighty, let's go to the euro. Finally getting some action here. Go to an hourly chart. Actually, we'll go to a 4-hour chart. So we broke, this is a chart from yesterday's post. We did break the short-term resistance trend line here, which is a beauty, and we've kind of taken off since then. I was looking for thinking that 1050 would be support, and I guess it still could be at some point, but obviously quite a ways from there. Really, the level that you want to focus on right now or pay attention to is, you can see this, so this VWAP line here, the volume weighted average price, that's just 2022, so annual VWAP, and that is currently 1185, so we're basically there. But the big spot is like 112.15, 112.30. It's 2 equal legs up from the low. It's also former support, so you got support there from December, right? I think it's maybe the December low. Resistance here. It's just a well-defined level, and of course you've got the little channel here as well. But I want to scroll out a little bit and show something a little more important on euro. So for one, let's go to a monthly chart. So everyone knows, because we've talked about it a lot, but the line from the 2016 and 2020 lows, right? We nailed that this month. Now, again, the last day of the month is tomorrow. So what's that mean? Well, assuming we finish something like this, and maybe we don't, maybe we tank tomorrow. I don't know. I don't think we do, but assuming we finish something like this, you're going to have a pretty big bullish monthly candle here, right? That is a very long lower wick, right? And what's very interesting is that this is FXE. So those of you that read my stuff, you know that I do run some various, volume signals on like currency ETFs and currency futures. And interestingly, we actually already have a bullish monthly volume reversal on FXE. And since inception of FXE, which only started back in 2006, you can see that we've had 2 signals. This would be the third, and the last one was the January 2017, which was obviously a very big low. And then we had one back in May 2011, which was a really big high. So, you know, it historically has paid to pay attention to signals like that. Again, on spot here, we would actually have a monthly key reversal, or maybe end up with a doji or something. The monthly opens 12.18. Okay. Kind of big. All right, let's move on. Take a look at pound. By the way, just, you know, you can see the little tricks here. Back when we bottomed in March and started holding up, you know, throw a VWAP on the low, you can see how well that's held on the way up. Okay, British pound. Oops. There we go. Similar short-term setup, breaking the short-term trend line here, and I would peg support at like 31.30 for cable. That's really about it. We looked at British pounds a lot last week, remember? So refer to last week's update, if you will, on the big key reversals and the seasonality. We just looked at that as well for cable. Getting a very interesting short-term little possible low here in dollar CAD. I don't really have much interest in being short the dollar at this point, but we'll look at Euro CAD and stuff a little bit. Let's see. All right, so we just looked at pound. Let's finish up with the majors, and then we'll look at some crosses and indices and all that good stuff. Okay. All right, Aussie dollar. Here we go. Okay, Aussie dollar really just kind of been meandering for like 5-6 days up here. We've been in what I would kind of consider a pullback territory, or, you know, spot for a pullback here. Over, you know, again, like the last 5 or 6 days, just haven't done it yet. But that spot is simply the October high, right? 75.55. And then you've got the upper parallel of this fork, which basically was touched, I guess that would have been Monday. We reversed a bit lower. And yeah, I continue to think pullback. I don't know if that is based on simply the fact that that's what I want to see, or if it's, you know, I think I just want to see a pullback because, well, I want to buy back into this, you know, this support level or proposed support level back here, which is sub 74 at this point. It'd be like 73.90-ish, 73.80, 73.90. And yeah, that's that. Kiwi was absolutely perfect yesterday. So here's the neckline, right? Been following this closely for a very long time. And follow with me. You can see the breakout, support, support, resistance, 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 and then it's been support for the last couple of weeks, actually. So Kiwi, again, if you pull back a little bit, I actually had an order. We were looking to buy kind of down near the 69. $20s to like 40s zone. And I would continue to pay attention to that, and then stops under 68.70. But near term, upside focus towards like 70.50, which is simply the line here, right, from the 2021 highs. So basically your 2021 trend line, if you will. So it looks like we're starting to get kind of ever since I started this webinar, getting a little bit of quote unquote traditional risk off, actually, where you're seeing commodity currencies take a bit of a hit here. So maybe this is the beginning of something, a bit of a pullback where we'll get that opportunity to participate in Kiwi upside at a reasonable price. All right, let's go to dollar CAD. Dollar CAD, love this setup. We have broken this trend line. We have been down for, we looked at this last week. Remember, we had 7 or some days. What did we go to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? Is it 9 days? Has that even ever happened? Let's take a look. Nine days. Hold on. Consecutive. Okay. 9. All right, 9 days. Oh, we had one. August 2016. Had some others. 2011. Most of them, I guess you'd say, were at least little bouncies. I don't know. That stuff really isn't that useful. So it's just fun, right? All right. Where were we? Okay, so dollar CAD, and the setup here does remain the same, and it would be a pretty big bounce if to get back up to that 26, just above level. So there might be a short-term trend alongside right now, and that's what I was mentioning just a couple minutes ago. So I had drawn this in this morning, and look at that. It's just a beauty. Nailed it to the tick, and we are getting a solid reversal here during this webinar, right? It's like 40 pips over the last 15 minutes. So we are getting a nice pop. You might have an opportunity to trade scalp the long side up into the 26 level, right? And then look for the short side on that. Excuse me, hold on 1 second. Okay, moving on. So we did the majors. Dollar peso is actually a very interesting proposition here as well. You can see that we did break a trend line that goes back not quite a year, back to June of last year, so 9 months or so. And the 200-day average is at the underside of that trend line. So again, this is one of those setups where we'd need kind of a decent pop before you'd want to get involved. But yeah, something to pay attention to. So if we do get that, be aware of, you know, a short entry for dollar Mexican peso. All right, let's look at some crypto real fast, and then we'll look at indices. All right, so Bitcoin. So I had thought that maybe we had a triangle going on here, a bearish triangle. That was not to be the case, right? However, we are into a massive, or getting very close to a massive level. So the pitchfork drawn here, you remember that low, January 24th, that nailed the low, right? It's perfect. And at that point, I actually noted that we could trade all the way back to this upper parallel whenever that may be. Here we are a bit over 2 months later, and we're getting really close to it, okay? And we also have a corrective channel that intersects with this at like 49,000. So 49,000 might be the place to watch. And I just noticed this. Remember that big crash back in early December? Right here, the close of that day, I guess that's kind of silly to say because really, I guess these cryptos don't really ever close, but whatever, that day is 49,000 as well. So I would kind of mark 49,000 on a big sheet of paper or on your wall or something and pay close attention to that, because that might be a great short opportunity. So yeah, 49,000, that's where my head's at, looking into 48,000 and then maybe going the other way. Ethereum is kind of already at a big level. Again, the 200-day average. We also have this line. You remember this line that goes back to the May of 2021 high. And then if you draw it off of that September high, right, you got all kinds of good action on that line, including that December crash level. It held up as support, and then we kind of kissed goodbye. 618 retraced a little higher. So Ethereum's already into a big spot that I would pay close attention to for resistance. But yeah, so with cryptos, I'm kind of thinking either lower now or like lower after like another day or two into 49,000 for that. For Bitcoin. All right. Indices, real quick. So I've written about the NASDAQ twice this month. On March 9th, we wrote this, right? NQ held the top side of the line, blah, 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 blah. I'm thinking the price attempts to recover back into 15,000 plus. There's a lot up there for resistance, okay? Then yesterday, here was the update. Here's the chart. And we've gotten back up to 15,000 plus. So again, remember, we held this big, long 7-8 year trend line, right? And now we've gotten to resistance. Can we go a little higher? Sure, but what else do you want, right? I mean, we've had a rally of 18% in 2 weeks. So, yeah, I don't know. For me, it's good enough. And yeah, now I would like to go the other way. And that's that. All right. There are some interesting crosses out there. So like Euro CAD, we're going to put in a really big weekly reversal this week as well, right? We appear to be rallying in some sort in a kind of impulsive fashion on the upside. Like this is hourly chart 1, 2, 3, 4, pop off 5, maybe get a chance to buy at some point back near, somewhere back here, 38.40s at some point. If I'm going like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then something like that. Andrian says, look at pound yen and gold. I sure will. You know what? We'll go through all the yen crosses actually. Actually, I don't think I looked at dollar yen. So yeah, we'll do that. Anyway, EuroCAD's a very interesting chart for me. Let's go to these yen crosses real fast. So I'll go to Euro Yen first. So Euro Yen, we nailed a big spot. We'll go to this weekly chart here. Big spot, right? 10-year trend line. We nailed it. We took out the high from what's that? 2018. And then we have kind of started to come off a little bit. Look at all the candles up here. Again, the best way to explain all this yen trade is it's very emotional. And I do think that we pull back some. If we do, then you've got a pretty good looking support line at like 32.70. Okay. Pound yen. Again, weekly chart. See all the levels up here that go back many years. And we took that out, right? Tagged it. This is a weekly chart, starting to look pretty ugly if we close like that. 158.20 is going to be a level to pay attention to, and we almost got there today. Kiwi Yen. This is the chart we looked at last week, right? I think I put something on Twitter like, this would be something to fade, but I'm not that dumb yet. Maybe it's time to be dumb now. I don't know. We do have a little bit of dollar yen short going on here, but we're starting to get, the week we got 2.5 days left, but we're starting to get some pretty big weekly candles up here. So, that combined with, the NASDAQ and equities having the run they did, being up near resistance, maybe the next phase, is something more along the lines of a traditional risk off, and we actually get bonds to rip. And that's something else to look at. Like, all right, check this out. So I'm going to go to US 10-year. Okay. We're going to go to 10-year yield. All right. Here's a daily chart. Okay. Here's a weekly chart. All right. So here's that yield chart. Why don't I add in yen dollar to this, because that would be the correlation, right? Oops, sorry, dollar yen, not yen dollar. What's wrong with me? Dollar yen. Pretty darn close, right? So, if you think that maybe you're going to start to come off in yields, which I kind of do, then, there's a currency trade there. And let's go to dollar yen. I've been throwing these charts up on Twitter the last couple of days, and really it's been a pretty simple trade. Like, you always hear, don't don't try to call the turn or whatever, right? Or, this, that, and the other. Yeah, I get it. Like, you're not trying to be the smartest guy around, but like I'm sorry, but like when you had, on a Monday, go to 125 and change, and frankly, you just look across the chart, it looks like a pretty big level for resistance to me, in dollar yen. So we got that, and then, yeah, let it marinate for a day or so, whatever. Okay, the market, we started to come off. Great. Again, throw that VWAP from the top up there. Great. You didn't even have to get involved for 3 or 4, a couple days. Like this was last night. We actually had this in our update, right? Looking to sell 23.15 to 23.50, right? We traded 23.20. Boom. Okay. I happen to think that you're going to have support around 120.40. We've actually been kind of marking down all the 40s for whatever reason, but like, 21.40, 22.40, 20.40. 20.40 is a good spot. This is kind of your, what I call, original trend line from like the launch off point. And then of course you've got this low down here, right? So it's just a good spot. But yeah, that's a level to pay attention to on dollar yen. Okay, we had a question about gold as well. So gold and silver, remember last week mentioned that we kind of probably needed to, kind of just chill out for a little bit. The trade up into these levels was very emotional. The market needs to reset. It seems that that's what's happening. Yesterday certainly had the feel of something of a short-term bottom in the metals, to be sure. We are into, just look at the chart. I mean, we're into levels that were former highs, right? And 50-day average for gold held. That's nice. But again, I don't think it's just off to the races. Like, you're probably going to have to, we may have corrected actually all we're going to correct in price, but maybe not in time. And what I mean by that is like, you might trade up like this and we go into something of a kind of a lull, right? Get quiet again. And then eventually everyone will forget about gold and all that, and it'll be written off, and then we'll go bananas on the upside again. That's my little story. So yeah, I like the metals on the upside. Silver came down and look, I mean, silver tagged beautifully at 200-day average, which has been just absolutely perfect for support and resistance for like basically a year. I mean, look at that. Boom, 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 boom. If you want to get a little more nitty gritty on it in terms of where to look for support, high volume levels, actually nothing that great. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and make something up, but yeah, I think that we probably do trade sideways for, could be weeks, if not longer. And we are going to, put in a little, mark a little time, put in a little ink, a little back and fill, and then we can really head higher once again. But yeah, gun to my head, I'd say that the price lows for these pullbacks are in place, right? I mean, this is textbook, not just gold, but like any market for that matter. Like, you get a nice bullish reversal here, everyone gets jacked up for it, then you come back and it takes everyone out and everyone's all pissed off. So, markets like to frustrate, right? The max pain scenario is always the scenario that wins out. Okie doke. Real quick here, hold on. let me remind you all, go to scandinavianmarkets.com/getfunded. It'll take you to this page here. Don't forget that we do have a revamped max trading program, okay, and it's open to anybody. You can come and get your get your assessment, and we do have an assessment. It's right here. You can read about it now. Read on this page, and you can get funded with up to $2 million over time. So you can start out with any amount you want, of course. And again, you're trading our money, and there is no time constraint. So come check this out. Again, scandinavianmarkets.com/getfunded. All right. All righty. Okay, so that's it. Jamie Saettele here, signing off, and good luck.